Joining us now from Clougher is the Enterprise Minister, Arlene Foster. Minister, let's deal with some of the points raised in the film there. Jennifer McCann concerned about infrastructure, a point echoed by Greg Lloyd.
Well, I think it is important to get the infrastructure right, and that is why we're working right across government to make this possible, and the Department of Regional Development will be key in the development not just of Belfast in relation to the number of visitors we expect there, but also in some of our other key events this year, including the Irish Open. So it is very important that we work across government to make sure that everything is in place for the tourists when they come to Northern Ireland.
But obviously the Open isn't that far away and the Titanic launch is even closer. None of this is going to be in place in time for the actual anniversary and the actual competition.
Well, I don't know what you mean by none of this is going to be in place. Obviously
in terms
the logistics will be in place. Well, in terms of infrastructure, we have already invested a huge amount of money in the tourism infrastructure right across Northern Ireland. And I think what you'll see is us coming together as a government and as an executive to make sure that we take advantage of the global opportunity that has been presented to us in 2012. And what I was really saying in the Assembly is that everybody needs to grasp this opportunity and really make the difference for Northern Ireland in 2012.
Are you hopeful then that the figures that we saw in Yvette's report there, 12% down last year, that will increase this year?
Well, those figures are incorrect, actually, because I put out a press statement on the 5th of January of this year welcoming the fact that we had in fact increased our figures by 6% over the same period as last year, which was January to September of last year, was 6% up on January to September of the year before. So I'm not quite sure where Yvette's getting her figures, but I know certainly that we have increased not only the number of visitors that have come to Northern Ireland, but also importantly our revenue spend over this past year as well, which is up in the region of 20%.
Were we just not quick off the mark in terms of some of these projects? That's certainly what the Audit Office report has said.
I beg your pardon, sorry?
The Audit Office said that they had difficulty looking at how quickly we got involved in some of these projects. The timeline for the Titanic, for instance, deficiencies in management and governance, deficiencies in project planning.
Well, I thought it was, I was actually very bemused by the Audit Office report because some of the things they were saying simply do not stand up to scrutiny. What they say they're concerned about in relation to the number of visitors that we are projecting, I mean, that's the same number of visitors as Belfast Zoo gets on an annual visit programme. So I cannot see how the Titanic Signature Project, a project that is based on a global brand, could in any way not attract the same amount or more visitors to the Titanic Signature Project. And just in relation to the point made by Jennifer McCann, and she made it in the Assembly to me last week as well, about the fact that this was a project situated in the east of the city and how was it going to impact on the rest of the city. I was very pleased, I have to say, that when we held a joint jobs fair with Belfast City Council and indeed with Dell back in October of last year, that half of the people who registered for that jobs fair were from West Belfast. So I think people are grasping it, and we just need to get all of our politicians to grasp the opportunity that's there as well.
You mentioned jobs there. What sort of jobs are we creating here within the tourism industry? Do you think there's a long-term sustainability, or should we be looking a bit more at creating entrepreneurs and young business people who are going to create new industries for Northern Ireland?
Oh, well, of course it's both, and at the moment the tourism industry supports around 40,000 jobs in Northern Ireland and contributes about 5% of our economic growth. And we want to see that increase. We believe that it can increase right across Northern Ireland. So when we're talking about events happening, the Enniskillen International Samuel Beckett Festival, for example, in August is going to bring new jobs to County Fermanagh. When we're talking about what's happening up in the Maiden City in Londonderry and the huge amount of interest there's going to be there in the UK City of Culture, when we're talking about the World Police and Fire Games, which are coming in 2013 as well, all of these will add to the number of jobs that we are able to create in the tourism industry. And yes, we do want more entrepreneurs, we do want more innovators, but we also want more people involved in the tourism industry, because this isn't just about jobs, it's about changing global perceptions of Northern Ireland. I'm very clear about that, and that's what we need to do.
How do you do that when we have things like the bombs in Londonderry and Mazarine?
But we cannot be deflected by those who would seek to drag us back to the past. And I was very pleased with the event that we did have in London just last week to really say to Great Britain, which is our largest market for tourists, that Northern Ireland has changed. It is a confident place. It's confident in who it is, and we very much want you to visit us and look at all of the events and all of the product that we have for you. So I was pleased with that event, and I hope we can build on it to bring those tourists back over to Northern Ireland, particularly in this huge year for us, 2012.
I'll just